Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. This is Ming and Kathy, and our app is called FootPrints. So the main motivation for our app is to encourage people to engage with the urban landscape in a new way. The reason for this, we live in a society that's accelerating. We rush from place to place. We're distracted by digital technology and devices. And we're losing the ability to notice our surroundings when we're taking the same routes from place to place. So in terms of our design philosophy, we wanted to apply engagement techniques and tools derived from internet culture and apply them to the urban landscape as a way of reconnecting people with it. So some of these techniques are exploration, the ability to participate and co-create content, the ability to share, user-centered customization, real-time responsiveness, self-tracking, and gamification to provide incentives for exploration. We looked at precedents where some of these techniques have been applied to enhance user experience and engage users. So things like participatory museums, national park apps, and also geolocated self-tracking and photo sharing apps. So some of the specific strategies we've employed are to promote exploration of places that are less familiar, to give users the incentive to notice, describe, and record their perceptions of the city, and to elucidate hidden or invisible attributes that have shaped the form and flavor of the city, like neighborhoods and buried streams. So Ming's going to walk us through some of the main features.
So as Rachel mentioned, the first thing that we want to do is to promote users to engage with the urban landscape. And we do this through two main methods. The first one is to promote user engagement. So as we kind of showcase in this screenshot, it's where we try to present users with landmarks that they've aggregated, allow users the ability to kind of keep a diary of interesting sights, interesting sounds, interesting smells, or interesting notes of any sort in the environment, and be able to revisit them whenever they need to. And the second aspect is when they're trying to give users the ability to self-track. So the idea is that they're tracking the areas that they've been to, essentially a footprint of their activity. And here you can see that there's like fog around the area, which kind of highlights the areas that you've been to only. So we'll go straight to the demo to show you how all of these are implemented in the phone. So the first thing that you notice is that, I was using the app this morning, I closed it off, and then I walked to school. So the first thing that I noticed is that there's a notification here that says I have entered the university neighborhood. So when I click on that, it brings the app front and center and shows the areas that I've been to. And you can see right now, the areas that I haven't been to are covered in gray, or I would call it a fog of war. And this promotes interest in the user to kind of know where I've been, where I'm exploring, and where I should go to next. And the other form of engagement that we talked about was these landmarks. So if I can click on any of these landmarks, and it would pop up with a bubble that showcases the picture and kind of a small caption of what I saw. And because sometimes it's hard when you're trying to click on these markers, we actually provide it in a separate way as well, so that you can actually view all the different markers that are on your screen right now. So you can actually scroll through, and you can see that this morning I started with the sunrise, I went to get a breakfast, and then I walked to school, and I recorded some sound of the birds chirping. And so we'll go to show how I could actually record some of this information. So the first thing I do is record like an audio track, for example. So it'll warn you that I have to long press to record. I am at the demo and presenting. So here it brings it up to where you can actually see and add more comments. I can name the spot, I can leave a note, so I'll just call this demo. I can leave a note, categorize it as a sound, and I can even play back if I want to. Volume key. Does audio work on this?
Yeah, you need to plug it in, it's not plugged in.
Oh. Oh. And it's kind of looping. And then I can pause it, and I can save that, and it'll be like a new demo. So if I go back to settings, and I can go to recommended landmarks, I can see demo's been added there with the audio, and I can click on it, and it centers to it. The other thing, in addition to these landmarks and showing people, the places that they've been to, is that, as we've shown earlier before, we have a notification when you cross neighborhood boundaries. But a lot of times that's not enough. What if I want to see the boundaries or the neighborhoods I've been to? So we actually also added something that would promote users to learn more about their neighborhood that they're in, the neighborhoods that they've been to. So by showing the neighborhoods, I can actually see a visual map of all the different neighborhoods in Toronto. And if, for example, let's say I'm interested in where I live, which is this neighborhood right here, I can click on it. Sorry, gotta hide the settings first. If I click on it, it'll be like, this is the Bay Street Corridor neighborhood. Would you like to know more? And then when I click on additional information, it'll bring me to, in this case, a Wikipedia article. Some of these actually go to a Toronto neighborhood website as well, and it depending on the neighborhood. Sometimes we have links for the Toronto neighborhood site, sometimes we have it for Wikipedia. But the idea is that we want to promote the user to know more about their environment by giving them information. And this concludes the demo of what our app does.
There are 3 key learning that we've obtained through working on this project. So the first is that before going into the code, we really need to sit down and decide on the core functionalities to prioritize when we're into the development. We kind of got excited with exploratory features like Fog of War, that we started on those before refining more the core features like location services. Second is that we really need to be generous when allocating time to familiarize with APIs that we haven't worked with, in this case, Google Maps for Android. And there were subtle limitations that presented a little bit of challenge that set back our timeline. Also, obtaining accurate location is really difficult, especially when you're indoors and GPS is not available. Eliminating those outliers and identify the vertices to give a clean path presented unique challenges that in the future, if we were to work on a similar project, we would probably move that ahead in the timeline and spend more time on that.
Okay, and finally, just to go over this quickly, so for future work, there's some additional engagement features that we think would make the app even better. We would like to add notifications letting you know when you've entered heritage districts, letting you know where hidden streams are, and the historic shoreline. Also a keyword filtration system to enable you to create thematic routes through the city, and also a reward system for people who explore more than others. And then finally, by connecting to a server, it would allow us to create a database that aggregates user-generated perceptions, which could then inform better urban design and landscape design, and also would enable visibility for other users' landmarks and allow you to share your routes with your friends as an additional incentive. That's our app. Thanks.
Great. Questions?
You put the neighborhood overlay on. Why
Yes.
did that take so long?
Oh, the neighborhood overlay?
Yeah. Was that coming from the internet or something, or?
That was actually coming from having to parse the JSON files, because each of the neighborhood has like, I'm actually not sure why it takes this long, because I'm assuming the parsing is the longest factor, because we actually need to get the JSON data. It's in the format of JSON, and then have to actually go through all of them and put all of them on the map.
Okay, and each neighborhood's like 1,000 points, or just like?
Yeah, they're each like
it's
really,
like a point everywhere.
they're like basically pointing all the vertices of the
Okay.
geometry,
Okay.
except the thing is it's not like clean one to here, it's like actually like even small deviations are recorded, so, and I wasn't going to clean it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other questions?
You mentioned that there's links to information about a neighborhood or an area, either on Wikipedia or a neighborhood website.
Yeah.
Are you actually just searching like the neighborhood's name, or is there actually like a link associated with a neighborhood? Because I thought it was kind of weird that you would have 2 destinations for that.
It's a link associated with each individual neighborhood. So The idea was whichever one provided the more interesting information that we thought was better. Yep.
I just wanted to say I really liked the fog. I feel like that would really motivate me to go to those places where I couldn't see it. So that was really interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, my comment was very similar. I really like the gamification aspect of it. Like a depression, freshness in me would for sure like need to explore like more and more of the city to like unlock it. But I was wondering if you'd considered for part of your reward system maybe rewards based on like exploring a certain neighborhood or something. Like if you explore the whole neighborhood, you get a reward or something.
So
Yeah.
I think that was, we discussed in the future works where we want to add more of that because we want to explore more of the gamification aspect, but just for this, for the prototype aspect, we felt that was more of like a secondary goal with the fog taking or the geofencing taking priority. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, on that same vein, I don't know if you've heard of geocaching.
Yes.
That would be
Yeah.
a good thing. I think that would integrate really well with this kind of application.
Yeah.
So people would go and find these hidden things.
Totally. Yeah. That'd be great. Yep.
Yeah, it's a comment. Just I really like adding the feature of the sliding pictures instead of clicking on each one.
Hmm.